Microdosing is just basically using a very small amount of THC, somewhere around the range of 2.5 to 5 milligrams. And when you are using a microdose of THC, you don't need to worry so much about all the psychoactivity that can go with it. So THC is the only cannabinoid in cannabis that creates that euphoria, that high. And if you take too much, it can cause a very uncomfortable experience where you can get paranoid, have severe anxiety. Once people do that, and it's usually after having an edible, and because what happens is, when you take cannabis by mouth, it can take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours before you're going to notice the effects of it. So what happens is people who are naive to this will take, part of a brownie or part of a chocolate bar or whatever. And then like 30 minutes later, they're like, okay, I don't feel anything. There must not have been anything in that piece that I ate. So then they eat another piece. And what happens is when it hits like a sledgehammer, because they have taken way, way, way too much. And one of the other characteristics of cannabis, and of THC in particular, when it goes through the liver, the compound of delta-9 THC gets converted to 11-hydroxy THC, which is much more potent than delta-9 THC. So not only have they taken way too high of a dose, but then that high dose gets converted into an even more potent effect, and they have a very bad experience. Nobody's ever died. It's not like overdosing on any other pharmaceutical medications. You don't need to worry about dying from it. You'll just be very uncomfortable.
You might feel like you're dying.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll never do it again. That's the good news. I mean, once you've done it once, not to do it again. So that's kind of the problem with edibles, and for people who are a little naive in this space. It doesn't help with uneducated bud tenders. So when the public goes into a dispensary, the bud tenders don't oftentimes know the appropriate recommendation on dosage. And so they think somebody starting with 10 milligrams of THC is going to be absolutely fine when they've never had it before. And so that's the one problem. And then the other benefit of microdosing is, I have no interest in being high. That's not what I do this for. It's for the neuroprotection. So, and most of the clients that I work with, they're elderly, they have pain issues, they have arthritis, they have depression, anxiety, all of these things. They are not looking to get high. They just want to get some relief. And they don't want to have to keep taking all of these pharmaceuticals. I mean, some people are on 18 or 20 different pharma drugs. So not only do you have the side effects of each individual one, but now they're interacting with each other, and people start developing these new illnesses, in air quotes, which is really just symptoms of the side effects from all these different medications. So in order to be able to get the benefits of THC without having to deal with any kind of psychoactivity, if you microdose, that little amount of THC is not going to make you high, but it does affect the other cannabinoids, and it boosts their effectiveness. So by taking a little bit of THC with CBD or CBDA or any of the other cannabinoids, it's going to boost up the effect. There's something called the entourage effect. Nature put all of these compounds together for a reason, and they work together, they enhance each other. Another example of this is if you take CBD with some THC, like I said, the THC will increase the effectiveness of the CBD, and the CBD will decrease the psychoactivity of the THC. So there are ways to use cannabis, certain protocols that help people to get the relief that they need without having to be impaired in any way.